And we are live. If you guys can see me and you can hear me, go ahead and destroy that like button, because today we are talking about the absolute best entry points to get into these crypto markets. If you've got dry powder on the sideline like me and you're looking for when it is the perfect time to allocate before absolute moon times are coming. Now, of course, I want to point out that this market is extremely risky. And for those of you who are new to crypto, you should understand that the risk reward in crypto is huge. You could lose a lot, you could make an insane amount, but you need to understand these risks if you want to play. Now, that said, we are in one of the most aggressively positive climates for cryptocurrency that's ever existed, with expanding balance sheets at the Federal Reserve, with a monetary policy that pretty much is aiming to kick the can down the road for any kind of pullbacks, bear markets, or corrections in this entire mainstream financial market. Now, what we need to understand and what that means for us as investors is that hard capped assets like cryptocurrencies, just like any other scarce asset, as we're seeing in real estate or even in watches and cars right now, any assets are just inflating like crazy. And so while there is some fear that we're getting a bull trap in the middle of a way down to a very, very punishing bear market, the reality is that I've let go of my belief that we could be in a bear market, and I'm now looking for the best pullback to get in with a lot of my dry powder into the coins that I think are most exciting. Now, of course, I have been allocating to gaming, NFTs, and all those sort of associated projects, as I've been telling you, as well as Ethereum. But I have some babies that I really want to get big positions in, and I'm waiting for a little bit of a rug from the market to get in. Now, I do believe there's a high likelihood we could be getting that particular development in the coming days. We've had pretty much nothing but green candles for the last, 4 weeks or so, which is very, very, very exciting. However, that is usually a sign that things will have some sort of pullback, and we're at very important areas and levels for that pullback to occur. Just like I've been saying, we were going to make our way up to 45. In this case, we made it up to 48, but we didn't get to 50, the hallowed land of 50, where we would really be above any overhead resistances. And so now the opportunity to get in at a potentially aggressively good valuation, a good pullback, is really there. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to quickly hop into the chats and say hello to some of you guys. Thank you guys for all showing up. Tommy, Christo, We United, Raw Avocado, Charlie, Ozagara. Sorry if I butchered that there. Thank you guys all for coming. If you guys are excited for this one, please, all together, let's smash that like button. We got 1,500 people in the house. Let's see if we can get over 2,000 viewers in here and show this content to more people, because we're going to be going over some very important topics today, showing you my playbook for the coming days and weeks as we get involved with this next leg of the bull run. Let's go ahead and bring in the screen share here. And you can see here that as we're looking here at this weekly candle chart, we can see Bitcoin is looking to flip this orange area into support on a weekly, right? And this is how traders are looking for. When you have a previous resistance line like we had with the 45K level, we either need to break through that and form support above it, or in this case, we're looking to form support, as Rect Capital is saying here, in the orange area, which is actually slightly below 40,000. Now, I don't necessarily believe we'll make it down that low, so I'm going to be bidding big if we pull back into the low 40s. And that's where I'm going to be looking to personally enter in with a lot of my personal funds. However, I will keep some on the side in case we dip into the 30s, which is not likely, but it is possible. So that's what I'm looking out to do. Now, is this possible that this is all one big bull trap and that we're going to go down to Goblin Town? It's important that you realize that at any point that rug could come and that we could enter into a bear market. I don't believe that that's what's happening. And in fact, the continuous expansion of the balance sheets by the Fed and what is the reality, which is the rapidly expanding number of COVID cases, at least here where I am in Los Angeles, to me means that we will inevitably face, once again, the conversation around lockdowns, stimulus checks, unemployment, and essentially injecting more and more and more money into the economy to keep it going, because otherwise the wheels would truly fall off. And that's not going to be politically popular. So in a world where what is politically popular is all that seems to be happening, what we see is that the likelihood of huge cash injections that make their way into the asset classes like Bitcoin, to me, seems extremely likely. And to have a parabolic growth based on a more than 50% likelihood, those are odds that I love. And so that's why I'm going to play this one hard. That's why I've always been playing crypto hard. But this is my playbook for the next few days and weeks. And I hope this has helped you guys. And if it does, go ahead and destroy that like button. But we have a ton more to cover today. So this Sentiment, which by the way, if you guys aren't following Sentiment, it's a very, very useful service here. They're saying that Buy the Dip has just hit over a month high in social dominance, and they will see how opportunistic the crowd wants to be at these levels. So yet another indicator, a social indicator this time, showing that buying the dip might very well be a very, very popular move over the coming days. Now, I wanted to point this out because it's important that you realize that crypto moves at light speed, and that within the concept of crypto, within the industry that is crypto, what we have is actually dozens, if not hundreds, of sub-industries. Now, this is a great way to explain it. Crypto experts went from geopolitical strategists to computer scientists to financial engineer to art collector in just a few months. Just remember, there are no experts. Now, I would say that there are experts for sure. However, it's important to realize that the amount of skills required to actually play ball at a high level in crypto are so many and so varied that just by learning about this industry, just by learning about what's going on here in the blockchain industry, in the crypto world, you are becoming a much more educated and well-rounded individual. I was completely uneducated about macroeconomics, about, essentially money itself, about a lot of financial policies, about a lot of tax reporting, different laws, about literal technology and software at layer 1 protocols or layer 0 protocols. I've learned so much. My head hurts on a daily basis from crypto. And you really need to learn all of these things and put them all together if you want to really understand the space. And in this particular case, we've just introduced art collecting as a skill set that can get you, in this case, ridiculously outsized gains in crypto land. So I think it's almost magical to see that crypto is now allowing for people in almost every category of expertise to have their place to shine, to have their place to quite literally get rich. And that is kind of insane, right? So just remember, while there are no experts, there are experts everywhere, and anyone who has a valuable skill set can bring it to crypto and, I believe, thrive. It's just a question of whether you want to come now early or whether you want to come when mainstream adoption happens and the opportunities are much harder to come by. It's up to you. So that's how I feel about this, but I loved this statement because it just shows how diverse this crypto movement is and how it's really allowing for everyone from politicians to lawyers to engineers to finance guys and DeFi over to art and art collectors, cartoonists, showmakers, video game creators and gamers. It's all there and it's all for the taking. So there's a place for you. And I honestly would actually say, at this point in the crypto revolution of sorts, at this point in the crypto industry's growth, I would say that it would almost behoove you not to try to focus on everything, but to become a little bit more niche, a little bit more focused in what you want to be working on. I was actually talking with Alex Becker just now, and he was telling me how he's just laser focused on the gaming trend. Now, I obviously am super biased there because I've been focusing on building games and cultivating NFT infrastructure for the last 4 years. And that's how it's my obsession really with this has voiced itself through the Super Farm project. And we have huge, huge plans there. But I absolutely support Alex's goal to become just laser focused on the niche of crypto gaming. And I think that that is the future. I think it's the most aggressive trend in crypto. And I think you should absolutely focus on that. Now, I'm going to remain a little bit more generalized, covering DeFi and other trends in crypto, but I would think that it's not crazy. And in fact, it's probably more manageable to pick a sector, whether it's NFTs, art NFTs, gaming NFTs, collectible NFTs, DeFi projects. If you want to focus on open infrastructure, L1s, and different types of infrastructure projects in crypto, or if you just want to focus on, stores of value, I would say that there's ways to break up this industry and focus on what you think you're most interested in. And I have a very, very strong rule, almost a law, that if you're passionate and you're interested in something, that you'll do it better. And doing something better is worth money in crypto. And you want to do something as best as you can. So find something you're passionate about, focus on it, become a master of it, invest with conviction, and don't be afraid to weather the bad times, because not everything will be looking great. And that's just the way it is. Blockchain gaming wasn't looking great for the last 4 years. In fact, people would roll their eyes at me when I would talk about crypto gaming as just like a yawn, as like yeah, I don't get it. But now Axie, just one game, is bigger, like 10x bigger than Ethereum's daily protocol fees. It's just crazy. So remember how these things can flip super easily. And, Animoca Brands, who invested in Superfarm, OpenSea, Axie Infinity, Flow Blockchain, and CryptoKitties really early. Yatsu, who runs Animoca, is probably the greatest NFT investor of all time. Well, things weren't exactly rosy for several years during the bear market. There wasn't anything going on, but he had the vision to see what would happen years down the line, and just the persistence. And so I would encourage you all to do the same, which is to try to look around the corners, try to look a few years into the future, focus on a sector that you believe has a tremendous amount of room to grow, and become an expert. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about on the 50th anniversary here of Fiat, which is the fake US dollar, as we know, the dollar backed by nothing, and do a little bit of an examination into what's happened since Fiat was introduced, which, by the way, there is no top on crypto because Fiat has no bottom. And this is aggressively accelerating the relationship between Fiat and crypto. And that is the actual underlying reason why these assets are going to continue to pump in respect to US dollars. That's the reason why art is such a good store of value, because it's scarce, why crypto is, why Bitcoin is, because these things cannot be just completely fabricated and duplicated until the value is completely just debased. Now, Robert Kiyosaki, obviously the famous author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but I wanted to go into this article, which is WTF happened in 1971. Now, this was, if you guys know, when Nixon took us off of the gold standard. But essentially what's happened since 1971, this chart says a lot, right? Which is from 1948 to 1971, we'd almost doubled the productivity of America as a country. And the compensation was moving in tandem, perfectly in tandem with the actual productivity of the nation, meaning the better America did, the better each and every one of us did as humans here in America. But something happened in 1971 when we introduced the gold standard, which was compensation almost completely leveled off. It completely stopped growing, or didn't stop growing, but in the last like 40, 50 years here, we've seen about a 12% or a 25% increase here in compensation, where we've seen 160% growth here in productivity. I apologize if my math isn't bang on there. But the reality is that there's something happened here which completely disadvantaged the everyday person in society. And understanding that compensation has stagnated, compensation meaning the actual value of what you're paid for your work and your time in your life, has not grown since 1971. Meanwhile, the actual country's productivity has grown by leaps and bounds. So who is benefiting from this increased productivity? Well, it is the elites, it is the wealthy, it is the makers and owners of the production facilities, the actual CEOs and the equity shareholders, the ones who hold assets, the stock market holders, not the workers. So now we've entered into what Fiat does more than anything is it takes the value of your time and your life's energy and it devalues it as it in relationship to the actual assets. So you would be better off owning assets in this environment than owning and working for cash, because this compensation just continues to stagnate, whereas productivity continues to almost go parabolic. So this is the real net effect of the fiat dollar, is to completely demean and devalue the actual real workers. So real GDP, real wages, and trade policies in the US from 1947 to 2014. What you see here is the real median weekly earnings haven't changed since 1971, but real GDP per capita is way up. How is this possible that we're making so much more money, but none of it is coming down and actually trickling down to the real workers, right? And so what we see here is the real effect of the fiat dollar. And here on the 50th anniversary of the fiat dollar, it's important to understand what the effect is. It is to essentially impoverish the masses. That is what it does. It makes people poor. That's simple. Right? So this is what we're fighting for. This is what this whole movement is about, is understanding that this change is so clear and obvious in retrospect that it should be an easy thing to try to address, but it's not, because we're in a place where we must print money. We must print money to stop what could be the most painful, could be a cataclysmic bear market where, society itself is challenged. Society could be challenged to deal with such a crushing economic setback. I don't think Americans are ready for that change in quality of life. So kicking the can down the road and printing is the only option. But as this happens, what we see is very clear, which is that, these are just more and more charts, right? Which is the 50-year decline in wages, income stagnation. The charts go on and on and on. It's horrific. However, what we can do now as people who know what's going on is get ourselves into asset classes that are scarce. Now, real estate, also in a bubble. I'm not a real estate guy. I can't say whether to invest or not. But all assets are skyrocketing. The S&P 500 skyrocketing, new all-time highs every day, I think for the last week or something. So what we see here is that those who own assets are essentially going to have this never-ending bull run because of the fiat dollar. So while we cannot necessarily fix the fiat dollar and outlaw the fiat dollar, and quite frankly, I don't really see that happening, what you can do is understand that your wages and your work product will never, ever, ever grow and never, ever be valued on the same way as your asset purchases. So this is the world we're living in. And these are the charts and the data that make it so evident that crypto is the way out. Now, I wanted to switch over for a second. If you guys enjoyed this, if you guys enjoyed hearing about this stuff, I did see a super chat here. Am I holding a Ren dark node? If so, was it hard to set up? I don't have a Ren dark node, but I'm a massive Ren fan. I haven't checked in on Ren in quite some time. I'll have to check back on it. Thank you for the super chat, Ari Valth. Thank you so much. If I miss your guys' super chats, I'm super sorry. I sometimes just get really carried away here. If you guys are enjoying this little historical recap of the fiat dollar and why we're all here in the first place, there's 2,800 of you in the audience. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Like I said, I'm going to be doing this each and every day, regardless, because I'm so passionate about this topic, about this movement. And if you guys are excited and you're getting value out of it, please smash that like button. Have I heard of Rena, volume aggregator? Benji, no, I haven't, and I'm not going to investigate it here live, but I appreciate it. So I wanted to talk here about another topic, switching gears off of fiat, which is if you check cryptofees.info, what you see is that Ethereum, Uniswap, Binance Smart Chain, Aave, and SushiSwap are all having more 7-day average fees than Bitcoin itself. Now, of course, Bitcoin has a mining reward, but it's important to realize here that you have 34 times higher Ethereum fees than Bitcoin. That's absolutely a mind-bending statistic. 34 times. 34 times. And so, look, I believe in Bitcoin as sound money. I believe in Bitcoin as a necessary liquidity floor for this industry. I just really dislike when people discount what's going on with Ethereum, as I think Ethereum as an invention is one of the most magnificent things that we've ever seen. And I would just love if we could get some kind of coming together here of Bitcoin maximalists to drop the BS here and say, okay, look, what's happening with Ethereum is nothing short of miraculous. And remember that these fees now are translating into Ethereum burning. So there are blocks where Ethereum actually is deflationary. It's not a constant flow of deflationary blocks, but it's very interesting. Thoughts on BitDAO? I believe this is the Bybit's project. Yeah, so I got actually offered this. I didn't take the investment yet. I might still, but they were coming in with a $10 billion valuation, I think was what I heard. So hard for me to buy that valuation, but who knows? Maybe they'll pull it off. I haven't looked too deeply into it. So that's what I know about BitDAO. I wanted to talk a little bit about this. And, I've been talking a little bit about indexes because a lot of people have trouble getting exposure to different projects. So there's ways that you can get exposure through indexes, which I think are very, very useful. There's indexed finance. And then there's another one, index finance here. It's a very small coin, 11 million, very low volume here, only 49K. So it's very hard to pick up this coin in any size because, it's just very illiquid. But I find this to be an interesting sector, one that should probably be paid attention to a little bit here, which is that I do believe that indexes are an easy way because people have trouble keeping up with NFTs. People have trouble keeping up with the different sectors here. So actually getting involved and using indexes could be a very, very simplified way for a lot of people here. And I think they should be something on your radar, which is understanding that indexes could be a keep it simple, stupid way to get exposure to certain. I'm not saying to buy index finance. I'm not saying to buy NDX. Though I do believe it could have upside. A lot of things could have upside. I'm absolutely not saying to ape into this. It's a very low cap, very risky project. But there's this and Index Network. I forgot the other one. But there are two ways that you can actually buy into baskets of tokens, which for a lot of people, I think is going to be useful, as they just want to bet on NFTs as a movement. They don't necessarily want to bet on a specific NFT avatar or a specific ecosystem. They want to just bet on a basket and say, okay, well, like, how do I just bet on this? And this is an interesting way to do it. So in this particular index, you get Engine, Mana, AXS, Sand, Audio, Super, Eternity, Gala, Rari, and NFTX, which is their own token. Now, I do want to talk about this, doing a little DeFi news. I'll get to questions and answers at the end, right? I'll hop in and we'll do a long Q&A here, and we'll definitely talk about it. So this is one little update. And by the way, this stuff is super, super risky, right? There's huge risks of protocol hacks. You could lose all your money by doing this. Just a huge word of warning. I know that I'm doing a lot of disclaimers lately, but you need to understand that during this correction, I had so many people come out of the woodwork since sort of like March, April time. And I realized how new a lot of people are to crypto. So I want to reiterate all of the risks at every single stage so that people have their eyes wide open when I'm covering things and understand what the potential upside downside is. Now, in this particular case, they're doing 300% API, which is about 1% a day. And they're allowing you to farm the bump token. This is coming from yieldfarmer.substack. I just thought, people keep asking for yield farming opportunities. Usually with yield farming, it's pretty easy because you hop in, you farm something like Bumper, and what you do is you want to just constantly dump it, right? And so as you're farming it, you don't want to diamond hand it, because with a lot of these, what happens is it's like an inflationary thing. They're giving you so much of this token that over time, people will want to rush in and get more of the token, but then they all cash in at one point, and a whale will sort of cash in at one point, and this thing will go down hugely. So these are ways that you can actually, with just stable coins, get some upside, in this case, into bumps. You could take stables where their only risk here is that the protocol gets hacked, which is not super likely, right? If you want insurance, you could take out insurance on it. But the idea here is that you could use stable coins, no volatility, get access to a coin like Bumper, and then ride that way up. Now, to be honest, the way I'm actually doing this is I use convex finance. I farm a lot of convex, and the yields dried up quite a bit over the bear period, but they're coming back. And convex, I believe, I'm very bullish on. So I farm with USDC a lot on convex finance. You can see the different APYs there on convex. Here, I'll actually bring it up for you so that you guys can see it yourself. And trying to do this in a way that, okay, cool. So here we can see that on convex, for using USDT, you get 13%. But where is it? The USDP pool was really generous, or UST. That's actually really low. Yeah, the yields are pretty low right now, but USDP was always pretty good. You can see 18.6%. This was as high as 60%, and you're getting paid that out in a mix of convex and CRV. And so what you do here is you want to restake that convex into the CRV, or the CRV into this, and you get a 65% bonus APY on your APY. So what I'm doing is I'm stringing them together. I'm staking into the USDP vault, sometimes into, I'll look for the best yield, but remember they do change. You stake into the USDP vault, then you take your rewards and you restake them here. And at one point, this APR was over 100%. It does fluctuate. And so you can stake, get a reward, and then restake for another reward. And you can string them together for some pretty aggressive APYs. And then you're taking your stable coins and you're getting access to upside through coins like Convex, which, by the way, the Convex TVL is like $5 billion and their market cap is so low. It's just crazy. You can see here that they're the actual TVL to market cap ratio here is, yeah, their market cap's 116 mil. When we were talking about it weeks ago when it was like closer to 50 mil, but you can see that their market cap to TVL, they have 50x their market cap in total value locked. They have $5.5 billion in total value locked. So if that gives you any sense of the confidence in this project and how low market cap it is, this is one of my favorite projects to bet on for the return of DeFi. I use it. I yield farm with it. It's really, really useful. Anyway, just thought I would share that. Do I still like Bridge Mutual as an insurance play? I absolutely do. Absolutely love Bridge Mutual. And there's actually a new partnership coming up with Bridge Mutual and Superfarm where we're doing some NFT stuff with them. So it's going to be super fun. Switching gears now to NFT Fundamentals. Look at this chart. I mean, look at this chart. Like, I'm not even going to say anything. Moment of silence right now for this chart. All right? Moment of silence. All right, moment over. So here's the deal. I'm late, Elio. I'm late. I'm going to put that comment up. I'm late. I'm super late. Anyway, so the deal is I predicted that NFTs would explode this year. I had no idea how hard they would explode. And I believed that we would be probably several years away from it being this big. But this to me is one of the most exciting trends. Obviously, we cover it ad nauseum here. And I actually have made it my goal to make this channel the leading resource for NFT research and coverage, because this is an industry that has consumer facing products. You know, we have a lot of infrastructure projects that allow for you to build XYZ on top, but very few real consumer products. And when you look at video games or NFTs, collectibles, clubs, actual content, those are end user products. Those are things that people actually use and interact with on a daily basis. And so to see this, what I believe the effect of this is actually adding users to the crypto ecosystem. And if you look at Metcalfe's law, which is more users equals more value in the network, I believe NFTs are the most exciting development for the crypto industry because of their power to add new users. And this volume doesn't lie. We have $600 million going through OpenSea. Well, it actually looks closer to like $700 million going through OpenSea just in this particular month. They're doing over $100 million in weekly volume. And that is quite frankly astounding. It's quite frankly shocking. So this is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful chart. And it shows you just how early we are to show the parabola of NFTs. And I do believe that there's something like 60 or 70,000 total wallets that have ever traded NFTs. As a percent of the total global population, that's freaking nothing. Let me actually, 7123 divided by 8 billion. I think that's correct. Yeah, we have this. This is what we're looking at. We're looking at, this would be 1% if that was a 1. So you're looking at 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000x. The NFT community would have to grow by 10,000x to get 1% of the world using it. That's how early we are. It's just shocking. Thanks for the RFox call out the other day, up 50%. What do you think of their upcoming Metaverse and P2E game? Yeah, look, they seem legit, right? They seem like they've been working on it a long time and like they have, plans to make it super legit. I'm a fan of super legit games. I haven't played it, haven't touched it, but I know that they, a lot of the people I do know and trust have said good things about it. And to be honest, like right now is an easy play. Here's how the market's working right now. Everything has gone the way of, has been following like Ethereum. Well, let's take a great example of this. Internet Computer, right? Internet Computer had the biggest meme chart of all time because it dumped like the most comical dump of all time. But then it leveled out, right? Then it leveled out. And so I said here, I was like, look, Effinity's cool. I don't even really care. All I know is that this chart is bottomed. It's a bottomed chart. You can see it. The skateboard ramp has reached its flat. You have your whatever. And it didn't want to go lower, right? And then the market starts coming back and I'm like, hey, this is going to be easy. This thing's going to try to make its way back. That's just how these charts go. And the more you look at these, and once the market's in a bull mode, charts that are in trending narratives, have big communities, have some kind of excitement about them, they will make their way back. So something like RFox, which is, if we look at the gaming category coins, where are these? If we look at categories, I'm a little annoyed that Super's not in the gaming category. Hopefully we can get that fixed soon. But if we look at gaming categories, what we see is that RFox is in the top 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's number 9 here, right? I believe Super would be right next to Illuvium here. But RFox is in the top 10 gaming. And looking at the chart, it was just sleeping, right? It was like, okay, everything in crypto gaming, because of this Axie wave, is going parabolic, but RFox was just dead heartbeat, right? And they have tech, they have a project, they have a lot going on, they have a decent market cap, they have all these things. Why isn't this thing following the trend? Just seemed like it was a matter of time, right? So we talked about it and now it's up. It's not rocket science. So hopefully this kind of way of thinking of these coins, by understanding coins that have bottomed, that haven't nearly made their way back close to other trending topics. And by the way, the topic trending right now is undeniably, inexcusably, incontrovertibly NFTs, and very specifically gaming NFTs, right? Gaming projects are it. It is it right now. It's everything, as I predicted. And so this was an easy play just because, look, how could it not be growing with everything else coming back? And, look, it's still got 80% down. So it's a 4X back to its prior highs. These are the setups, right? And you can do this over and over again by looking at projects that are in the good narratives, NFTs and DeFi, that have dumped too much, that have not made their way back like the rest of the market, investing in them before they have these upticks, right? Like now it's up. I'm not saying it's not investable now. I'm just saying here is gorgeous, right? It's a gorgeous time. That's just a way to look at this. Anyway, moving on. Time Magazine collaborated this week with Cool Cats. Time Magazine collaborated with Cool Cats. Where's the image? Oh, it's not in this one. Yeah, sorry about that. But stuff like this to me just shows the impact, the cultural impact of what's going on in NFT land, the cultural impact of what seems like these, unassuming cartoons, if you will. Well, it's much bigger than it seems. It's much bigger than it seems. It's actually enormous. And to see Cool Cats collaborating with Time Magazine just shows you that the mainstream is obsessed with this new NFT thing. They're wrapping their heads around it. And what will happen, I believe, is something akin to social media content. I view NFTs as content 3.0, right? You have decentralized ownership built into images, videos, music, audio, rights. All of these things I see as a piece of the content puzzle. And so when you see that as content 3.0, well, what runs the internet? It's content. What is Netflix? Content. What is social media? Content, content, content. So understanding that social media, gaming, Netflix, all of these things are going to be bundled together under the guise of NFTs and decentralized ownership, seeing things like Time Magazine jumping in, it just shows me, and there was no talk in this article about right click save as. That was like the meme. That was like the uneducated audience's view of NFTs for so long, which is if I right click save as, it's mine, right? Not right. Not right at all. And you will see very soon that ownership is the killer app here, decentralized ownership. And once Instagram integrates NFTs and Twitter integrates NFTs, it might be a year or two, but understand that NFTs will go absolutely parabolic thereafter. There will be the most unending, powerful, beautiful green candle on NFT land after Instagram and Twitter integrate these. And on my feed, I can just link my addresses and all of a sudden it'll show all the NFTs I own and I can make one of them my PFP. And you can see there that the PFP is verified on the blockchain. And all of a sudden now I am officially, digitally verified in my collection. And, in this case, I have 250,000 followers on Twitter. I have 350 or something here on YouTube. Everyone can see my collection and associate me with who I am as my identity. You think of what you share on social media as identity building, right? My identity is going to be these NFTs. It's going to be the projects I supported. It's going to be eventually things like, my car purchase. People put up pictures of their car. Well, in this case, you'll have your car shown as an NFT and the keys will be associated with that. So you'll start your car with a Bluetooth NFT in your phone. That's sort of my belief is where we're headed, maybe 5-10 years away. But this is why this is so early. And this is why moments like this need to be cherished and treasured and understood in their historical context. Now, I did want to cover this, a little bit of alpha for you guys. I'm going to try to make this a little bigger. Yep, cool. So 7 indicators that every NFT investor should be using to evaluate projects. Little alpha for you guys. If you guys are excited to see 7 indicators that you can be using, if you want to understand how, good a project's doing, how strong it is, how maybe how well it's being valued by the market. These are 7 indicators. Check out Spencer Noon on Twitter @SpencerNoon, spelled exactly how it sounds. Estimated market cap is number 1. So you want to calculate the 7-day average price times the total supply. This is like market cap, traditional, supply times price. Here's why NFT markets are generally less liquid and move considerably slower than fungible tokens. The indicator is useful because it eliminates outdated inputs. Example, early CryptoPunk sales. So what you have here is essentially a market cap, an estimated market cap that we can see here. If we were to multiply the 7-day average price right here by the total supply. Pretty simple. So The second thing is diamond hand balance, right? So now we're getting to a little bit more of an advanced metric here. And if you guys are excited about this, please smash that like button. This is useful stuff. So you want to calculate the total amount of NFTs belonging to addresses who haven't sold any NFTs from a given collection. That means that they are diamond hands. If they haven't sold any NFTs from the collection, you want to know how many people are the non-sellers. And I've said this before, what we'll see is a crash coming to cartoon NFTs. There's just too much supply. But what will happen is people will realize that maybe Bored Apes or CryptoPunks or Art Blocks, those communities probably won't capitulate because they're filled with people who have never sold despite insane astronomical price increases. They're the idealists. They're the diamond hands. And so you want to know if you're in a community that are diamond handed. And in this case, knowing how many people are unwilling to sell is a feature of a collection. It's a metric of that collection. It's a useful indicator for identifying collections or projects with long-term believers. And so this is a good way. You can actually do this on Nansen. Again, Nansen's a very expensive but very useful analytics software. Now we talk about unique holders. This is something we've discussed a lot, specifically with the segments with Zeneca33. Definitely, if you guys aren't following Zeneca_33 on Twitter, highly recommend. So it's useful in understanding the size of a project's community. More community members, meaning more people shilling it on Twitter, more people making noise about it. And that's why these one-of-ones, if you will, the one-of-one NFT craze is a little bit tricky because there's no built-in community there. You just have one owner. So how many people are going to be talking about a one-of-one art piece? Probably just one, or maybe some art critics. Whereas you have Bored Apes and they have the most unique owners in their collection, 5,184 now out of the 10,000. And so they have more people talking about their collection. Seems pretty simple, right? Finally, volume traded. Don't need to go too much into this. Higher volume means higher liquid, more interest, more appetite, and that typically leads to higher prices. But important, this indicator should never be used in isolation because it can be gamed by whales and used in tandem with, it should be used in tandem with unique holders. So if you have great volume with great holders, then it's more valid. Again, guys, 4 very useful pieces of alpha here. If you guys are excited, smash that like button, please. 5, rarity score. Here's why. All things being equal, if you don't have a preference on aesthetics, NFTs with higher rarity scores usually more valuable than those with lower rarity scores. Again, rarity scores can be updated. It's not a perfect science here to determine what's the most rare of a collection. But in general, if you're a higher rarity score, meaning more rare, the better. Finally, floor price. Floor price is a great way to tell, like, hey, if I had to liquidate this asset, what's the least that I could expect for it? What's the least amount of money I could expect for it? Not, factoring in rarity or anything like that. And so it's a useful indicator to know how cheap or expensive it is for users to join that community, right? And it's also possible for anyone to join a higher floor communities using apps like fractional art. This is something that is just in its nascent stages, but I believe that fractionalizing high value pieces like a zombie punk that's worth millions, having fractional ownership will probably lead to an even higher price on that asset, which will lift the entire collection. So there's a symbiotic relationship between fractional art and the actual NFT ownership and values. And finally, seniority distribution. Essentially, this shows the distribution of NFT ownership over time. It's a useful indicator for understanding which NFT projects have long-term focused communities. Again, definitely check out this thread and go deeper with Spencer Noon's research. I found this to be extremely useful as a framework for evaluating NFT purchases. And if you guys enjoyed it, go ahead. Don't be scared. Destroy that like button. Now, I wanted to shine a light on this because Hal Finney actually described crypto trading cards, aka NFTs, in 1993. Now, many believe that Hal Finney, who was actually the recipient of the first Bitcoin transaction, is indeed Satoshi. That was a theory floated by Vitalik. But this is really just heartwarming and quite an interesting glimpse into the mind of one of the earliest cryptography experts and a pioneer of the blockchain. Saying, giving a little more thought to the idea of buying and selling digital cash, I thought of a way to present it. We're buying and selling cryptographic trading cards, right? Fans of cryptography will love these fascinating examples of the cryptographic arts. Notice the fine way that the little bit patterns fit together, a mix of one-way functions and digital signatures, along with random blinding. What a perfect conversation piece to be treasured and shown to your friends and family. It's almost uncanny and eerie to see this level of foresight. I mean, this is almost 20 years or 30 years, almost 30 years early, 30 years Just stunning. Shows you what a powerful and incredible mind Hal Finney was. And finally, this is just a little sidebar thought. What I thought would happen after AXS blew up, dozens of low effort NFT games popping up. What actually happened, hundreds of low effort PFP NFTs popping up. Now, the reason why I think this is because this former one is much harder than the latter one. And the latter one actually didn't happen because of Axie. This one happened because of Bored Ape Yacht Club. So you have Bored Ape Yacht Club is responsible for this one. Axie is responsible for this. But I promise you, my inbox is full with low effort NFT projects. So those are coming. Finally, a little update here from Zeneca33 about art blocks. I'm actually not going to go into it because this segment has gotten a little too long. But I will go ahead and bring us back here for a conclusion. And then I will go into some Q&A here to end the episode. So first of all, on the 50th anniversary here, as we look back on what fiat and its legacy has created, which is poorer, less prosperous individuals across the board with rapidly inflating asset prices, your dollars going less far, your work and your effort in life getting you less and less far down the track, down the journey of life, down towards the ability to provide for your family, have financial freedom, and really enjoy and be at peace. This is the effect of fiat. And as we look at potential skyrocketing infections and cases of COVID, it's pretty unlikely, I think, that we avoid another lockdown, despite the absolute insanity that would ensue when it's announced. And I do believe that a rapidly inflating federal balance sheet leads to one direction, and one direction only, being the very, very likely outcome for crypto. So as we're looking at the best entry points here, I think a little rock down to the lower 40s, potentially a little under 40 would be the ideal entry point here for Bitcoin and crypto. Again, I've been waiting for a massive dip and I haven't gotten one for the last few weeks. So maybe I'll be the crazy old man crying bull trap. I hope not, but I'm ready here. I've obviously been aggressively trading gaming and NFTs, so I've gotten a little bit, I've been satiated in my need for gains, but I want more, and I'm excited to get really deep into my favorite projects as we rock back down, hopefully to the 40s, and flip those prior resistance levels into support. Now, again, we have so many amazing things happening here, having some degree of, I guess, having a little bit of caution in trying to be an expert on everything, having a bit of focus, being able to niche down and look at the things and the parts of this industry that most appeal to you, I think will go down as a phenomenal, phenomenal way to maximize your extractable value from this movement. Now, if you guys got some value out of today's episode, please smash that like button. Remember, each and every comment on this video is entered to win your own hardware wallet. And of course, if you want more videos like this, make sure you subscribe and you can get in on coins as we cover them here before they have their massive growth periods. And it looks like we're going to have a lot of coins having massive growth periods. So we're going to be doing as much content as we can to get you ahead and keep you ahead of this industry. Now, with that said, let's hop into some Q&A as there have been some great questions asked. Geopogs, the most underrated NFT project at the moment. I'll check it out, man. Thanks. Is all of life over the universe? I don't know what that means. Hodl. It's a great, an absolute great sentiment. More cowbell. Agreed. Definitely agreed. Keeper DAO Rook. Yeah, Rook's a great one. I believe in it. But there's a lot more minor extractable values projects that have come out. Wilder World. I'll check it out. Very instructive video today. Thanks, Elliot. My pleasure. My pleasure, Hugo. Any of the team involved with Astro Friends? Like I said, I invested in Astro Friends. I'll check back in with them and do updates as it makes sense. Last time I checked, Astro Friends is about to do their Rickstro Bull claim. So I've been actually buying up the floors just because I'm a massive, massive fan of Rick and Morty. And I obviously love the Astro Friends project. So the Rickstro Bulls are the ones that I'm most excited for now. Rickstro Friends. Gosh, OpenSea's going so slow right now. It's not even pulling it up. Go ahead and hide this comment. But yeah, so the Rickstro Friends, the Rickstro Bull hasn't been announced yet. That's the next thing on the roadmap. Or it hasn't been revealed yet. What NFT category? Where is that comment? Shoot, this chat just moved so fast, I lost it. Am I going to invest in Elrond eGold? Maybe. It wasn't on my top list. Probably not on. It probably won't make the cut. Yes, claim your Rickstro Bulls. Definitely claim your Rickstro Bulls if you haven't yet. Did I get myself any Doge Pound? Thanks for the super chat, by the way. I don't have any Doge Pound, but I want to. It's just when I was hanging out and talking with JRNY and Alex Becker, who, by the way, we actually have a what I hope will become a recurring segment with me, JRNY Crypto, and Alex Becker, just kind of sharing our own views on the market. I really like the way they view the market. And I think they bring very interesting perspectives. So we're going to have a little ongoing roundtable with us three. And they just have so many Doge Pounds. I feel like I want to catch up, but I feel like I'm just too far behind. I feel like I'm too far behind. And it's important to know when not to chase things. But I do think Doge Pound is a great project. So congrats to them. I lost that original comment I was chasing. Thoughts on HTR? Now, HTR is one of those that's probably due for some major gains. Again, there's a big community of people who believe in this one. The tech is good. The team knows what they're doing. I don't know. I don't think it's going to go the way of Ethereum, but it could go, get some L1 hype. I would see HTR needs to get on better exchanges, and it needs to be more accessible to like the mass retail audience that will flood Coinbase and flood Binance and flood all those other exchanges when they come back. But that's the big thing holding it up. Is the reasons why BSC and Polygon and all these ones are pumping is it's got that, and Cardano is because it's got that accessibility, and HTR needs that accessibility if they want to win. How do I find that? Oh, there it is. Which NFT category are you most bullish on for a long-term, Leo? Without a doubt, it's gaming. Without a doubt, gaming. Very simple. There is $100 billion+ industry in gaming every year. I think like 150 billion now, and it's all going to go into NFTs. And those NFTs are going to be really used. And I believe it's a 10 or 100x that it's going to create on gaming revenue. So I'll see that as being a, $1 to $10 trillion industry, the gaming NFT space within the next 10 years. That's my prediction. 1 to 10 trillion. Thoughts on NFTs on Solana, Degenerate Apes? Oh, I had this. I think it layered these. How do I get this? How do I get this off? I'm using a new streaming software, and I'm not sure how I can find this comment to take it off. So yeah, so that's going to be oh, there we go. Yeah, I don't like the way the Degenerate Apes look. I don't, but it'll probably be popular to make NFTs on Solana because it's cheap. How does a new guy coming into the NFT space go about understanding where to go for the useful information regarding certain NFTs? Can you do a tutorial for newbies? Yeah, so you want to, it's something where you need to take your time and understand, just like I went through all of those 7 tips for analyzing a collection, you need to then find collections on Rarity Tools, the upcoming, and then you want to analyze, or you want to find things that are trending on OpenSea, and then you want to go through and do the analysis, understand the community, see how excited they are and how powerful they are, how dedicated they are, look at unique holders, look at volume, look at all the different ways that you can look at how diamond handed they are, and understand whether that's the community you want to be a part of. So that's one of the things that I would say I could do a whole tutorial. Alex Becker did a really good one earlier this week, but I'll do my best to make some intro content for that. Anyway, guys, I think we've done a lot, guys and gals. Oh, there's one more super chat here. What are my thoughts on Cube? I heard you like gaming projects, and this is so undervalued. Called Somnium. It's called Somnium Space, massive partner in their Metaverse VR. Yeah, I'll look into this. Is Cube the Somnium Space token? Is that what that is? Oops. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Does it concern you at all seeing all these NFTs? Shoot. Does it concern you at all seeing all these NFT drops, having gas prices extremely high makes minting impossible? Yep, just growing pains again. But it's just burning lots of ETH, which I love. Cool. All right, guys. This has been absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys got value out of this, please smash the like button. It's all I ask. It's a free and easy way to support the channel. We'll be giving you daily updates, so make sure you subscribe and put that bell notification on if you want more content like this. Of course, if you want to win a Ledger Nano S, all you have to do is comment below this video and you're entered to win. As always, I thank you so much for watching. You can find me on Twitter at @LeoTrades. The link is in the description, and I will see you very soon on the next episode. Have a happy and healthy weekend, everybody, and I'll see you on Monday.